Welcome to the SaintsCityMe, a podcast delivering audio love letters to and from the city of New Orleans and our New Orleans Saints. On this week's episode, we're delighted to welcome a great friend of ours. He is the Prince of Pennsylvania. He's a savant of Scranton, Joey Plague. Joey, how you doing?
What's up, guys? Appreciate you having me on.
Joey. How are you, mate?
I like that. I could get used to a chant like that.
I'm going to record that and then I'll have it on loop in the background.
Yeah, I'm doing better now than when I was falling off a chair in slow motion on Bourbon Street as Mike just watched.
Hey, it was slow motion to you, but it was also I was a bit scrambled on alcohol, so yeah, it didn't matter what motion it was. There was no way I was saving you.
Maybe it was even slower for Mike. Maybe it was like
my favorite part about that was I wasn't even that drunk.
No. It was impressive though. You didn't hurt yourself, and that's what counts. I'm just gonna, in honor of our man, I'm just gonna put this on for a little.
I haven't found the right one yet. Otherwise, I'd have mine on too.
Hey, look, next time we're over, and next time you're going to be in the city with us, I'll bring you one over.
Yep.
You gotta get down to the Stetson shop. I went to Stetson in London last weekend.
Yeah.
Really nice
London first.
Yeah,
it was.
We got you.
Lovely. Yeah.
I'm gonna get in on this.
Yeah. So I suppose we should touch on the Saints. I'm gonna be honest here. I've had a bit of stuff going on in my life, trying to move house, buying a new one. So I've not really been keeping up with the combine or anything like that. So I'll say I'll hand it over to you, but we might just hand it over to Dan, Joey. I don't know. I think he's had plenty.
Yeah, I said this on the Saints block pod last week. Like, I start paying attention to draft stuff once free agency's over and we start getting the little hints about who to actually consider. So
yeah, absolutely.
I know the combine's happening right now. That's about as far as I go.
Yeah,
I do it the other way around. So I wait until I've watched the combine, see who I like their numbers, because the numbers are going to blow up and someone's going to come out of nowhere, and then I go and watch their tape. But that's probably because we don't watch college football as much here because it's on, Saturday night. If I say to Nick, I'm watching football Saturday night and I'm watching football Sunday night, she's going to rip my nuts off. So I have to have a little bit of compromise. But I've been watching. I've watched last couple of early sort of testing. I didn't watch the tight ends or the linebackers. I watched the interior defensive linemen on Thursday, and then yesterday I watched some of the safeties, mainly because they're the positions where there's players that I quite like going into it that I'm aware of. So your players like Cooper DeJean, who didn't test, Tyler Nubin, the safety I like. But I think I just want Brock Bowers, to be honest. Just give me that generational tight end.
Your mistake is not watching all small school prospects that nobody has ever heard of.
Because that's what's going to get called for us.
That's going to be the pick.
That's our first round pick.
Yep.
D3 school.
Yep.
Yeah. Shows flashes.
It looks like there's some fast running backs today, so I'll take one of those.
Yeah, it's not a year where there's, in previous years, people was like, oh, Ezekiel Elliott is going to go first for running backs, or Saquon Barkley's going to go first. It doesn't feel like there's that much hype this year around running backs. Yeah, it's sort of, if you know, there's no household names. I think that's probably because the QB position seems to be hotting up quite a lot. I think that's taking a lot of the attention, and then some of these.
The RB position has become more and more devalued over the last few years, hasn't it? So anybody looking, unless they look like they're a real generational talent, anybody looking to take a running back in the first round is viewed as a clown. Really, they just don't. Nobody really wants to waste that pick.
There's a handful of notable free agent running backs too.
Exactly. There's plenty on the market, and you'll get them at a decent price because unfortunately their market is pretty low.
Yeah,
and they're probably not going to go day one in the free agency either. A lot of these running backs, they're probably going to be like day two, or you're shopping at the second hand store for those guys more so.
Right.
With the environment it is now, but from free agency point of view,
is that translation thrift store, Dan?
Yeah, your thrift store shopping.
Yeah,
on the running backs.
What did you say?
I think. Charity shop.
Second-hand shopping over here, charity
Well,
shop,
that's
second-hand
what-
shopping. It's thrift shop over there.
Thrifting.
like Salvation
Yeah.
Army, but we have like cancer research and stuff like that we do it for.
Yeah.
But free agency, obviously, more interesting.
Yeah.
We're just trying to give our brethren Joey a little bit more education on the English system of charity shopping.
I'm sure we'll
there's
get into
only
it later. He's got one of the best knowledges of Britain I know.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'd say, second to New Orleans, learning about you Brits is definitely my top passion right now, for sure.
Yeah. There was a period on our last visit when you were there, mate, where your Cockney rhyming slang was up there. And it was impressive. It was impressive how much you actually knew as well.
Trying to get fluent.
Also, exactly. And how much you were able to decipher was impressive as well.
That's the fun part. Shout out Austin Powers.
And the pronunciation of Streatham as well.
Streatham.
Grew
up in Scranton. Shout out Dave.
Yeah.
There you go. See, that's how you learn. You learn from music. That's how everyone learns. Music and video games. Yeah.
South London.
Yeah. See, we did a whole night with a couple of hours of the distinction between a South London accent, a North London accent, and an East London accent, and just the subtle nuances in them. We go. That's what you do when you're drunk, don't you?
Yeah.
He's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a beautiful moment. So obviously you can look at the draft, you can look at free agency. What are people's thoughts on it? For me personally, I'm just at a point where I'm so hacked off with the way the Saints have drafted in recent years. I just want best player available now. That's almost where I'm going.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I said this the other day, just get another Brazil. I mean,
yeah,
I'm not expecting to get anyone that's going to be like rookie of the year contender without seeing them play, but give me another rookie that can win the job and contribute in year one. That's what I'm looking for. Where that is on the field doesn't really matter to me. I think there's a couple places, preferably maybe edge, but maybe that gets addressed in free agency. So
yeah, I think we're probably going to have to pay for edge, aren't we? I think that's.
I would rather go that route. Get somebody who's
yeah.
That's a need. That's a legitimate need. So you don't want to rely on a rookie, even if they're like a top prospect.
Yeah.
Or even like rely on getting someone in the draft and they're gone. And you're like, oh, right, we're scrambling because we didn't address it in free agency. I think I've spoken to Di about this a lot. I think my thoughts are you address D-line in free agency, you address O-line in the draft because you don't get exceptional O-linemen come up in free agency, so you have to grow them yourself. Is my view on it. But there's some good. I think defensive end for free agency, and there's some good defensive ends that I think if they're willing to pay the money, they can get them.
Yeah, that'll be the biggest thing.
I mean, I've got like four defensive linemen I've got noted down that I would be very happy with us taking.
I have 3, and I definitely left a couple out that you probably have on there.
Yeah,
that I wouldn't be mad at. My whole thing is like, if we're gonna pay a high amount for a player at that position, I would like it to be one of the younger guys.
So you're talking like Huff.
Yep, Huff is one of the guys that I'm interested in. Obviously,
Josh
Burns
Allen
would be cool. Josh Allen, exactly. Those would be my 3 wish list. Whether or not they actually hit the market is to be seen, and whether or not we go after them. Not fully confident in that, but that would be my tier 1. And then you're looking at like the Hunters of the world for me. Those a little bit older, probably going to be fairly pricey as well. So I'd like to see us try and go young at the top of the market, but I mean, at the end of the day, just get somebody who can have an impact is really all I'm looking for.
It's that I'm with you. It's go young, go someone who maybe be able to give us a few years of real production. But obviously, even if we are willing to pay the market, might be too high. And then if that's the case, go for a veteran who's available. So I don't know, Mac, so anyone, just someone who's going to give you some decent production.
So a curveball I have. He's not an end, but Chris Jones. He's a free agent. Stick him in next to Brazil. Get him to teach Brazil. if you can't get a defensive
I
end.
wouldn't hate it.
Just kill him up the middle with those two. And he learns something from there. He's got a mentor then. It's a curveball. I don't think we'd do it. I think end is more of a need. If they can't get the end they want, just max out on the best interior lineman you can get to develop Brazil.
Yeah.
For sure. Now, spoiler alert, because we know what's going to happen. We're going to end up finally signing Clowney, and it's going to be the in true Saints tradition.
But he was productive last year, wasn't it?
But that's the thing. He was productive last year. He will not be once we finally sign him.
He gave another team some production. We ain't getting that. No.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I think I like Huff the most because he's the youngest.
Yeah.
He was like 22nd in sacks last year. His tackles, his solo tackles that weren't that high, but he got like 10, 12 sacks, I think, last year. Give me a double.
He's one of those guys, though, that would be I think he's the perfect signing because he doesn't have the numbers.
Yeah.
But all he does is win. So, maybe he doesn't have the sack numbers, but he's constantly winning his matchups. So, he's the type of guy that maybe you can get him the year that he breaks out and actually has the numbers that correlate. Would be
we've had success with Jets defensive players as well.
Exactly.
Vilma, Davis.
Yeah. Exactly.
Haven't gone wrong there.
Yeah. Whoever it is, whether it's through the draft, whether it's free agency, a veteran, a youngster, you just need someone who's going to produce because that was so lackluster last year, wasn't it? And Granderson, I don't even know how many he ended on. How many sacks did he end on? Do anybody know? It wasn't. I don't know. A massive amount. It was like 7.5 or something.
Yeah, eight. But he got like 3 in one game or something like that, didn't he? But he's. I was listening to 28-3 podcast, and they said ideally he's your third defensive end if you're a top challenger.
I was just going to bring that up too.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
he
you
did well. He served a purpose. Like Cam getting 2 sacks last year was like that's the other thing. Stick Cam inside and bring in 2 defensive ends.
Yeah, that's my biggest concern with the defense is just that, I don't think I think there's going to be a fall off coming due to age.
Yeah.
And it's taking longer than anticipated, but it's coming.
Yeah.
So that's my biggest concern.
There's a spine there of players who are the other side of 30, Taron, DeMario and Cam. Like they're pushing it. Like Father Time will catch up. Doesn't matter how.
Yeah.
In their positions, you're just putting your body on the line time and time again. It's gonna hit. That's why I wouldn't mind taking a safety early in the draft, actually, just because almost contingency plan for now. May's gone as well, thankfully.
Yeah.
Last.
I mean, that's addition by subtraction in itself.
Yeah.
But yet again, the lack of production on the defensive end side of things, yet again, illustrates how well the DBs did. Yet again, it's always part of that fall off because obviously we don't know what's happening with Sean. I mean, Dennis Allen. Yet again, I think we covered this in a pod before, didn't we, Dan? About the fact that even before his little presser interview that he did this week, where he's saying, "Great player makes great plays, but it's just the industry." You're depreciating an asset in front of everybody's eyes.
Right.
That's just stupid. I mean, if you are thinking of trading the guy, stop talking about the guy having injuries.
Yeah, that's one area where the team's always been pretty incompetent is being able to sell a player that they want to get rid of.
I'd love to play. I'd love to play poker with him because I'd clean house. I think, and I'm not even very good at poker.
Absolutely.
Can we do a little shout out to Brooke Kershaw who valiantly gave herself up by revealing that Lattimore news, and she's sadly no longer with No One's at Football, which is a shame because I thought she was really good on there, and I thought she was a really good host for him. But
she's no longer in the city either, is she?
She's moved. She's moved out. It's a shame. It's a real shame. She was good young, up and coming.
But also gave that balance with the podcast that I think was required. It was, it was almost like the host, and she was a really great host. Yeah, it's a real shame. Yeah, a real shame that she's not going to be part of it moving forward.
But I think you're right. There's a lot of moving parts. Like, what do they do with Lattimore? What do they do with some of these like Jameis and players? Are they going to wait for the post-June 1st cut point, or are they going to do it before? It's like that's going to dictate what goes on. The Lattimore one, we'll probably get an idea through the draft and free agency what they're going to do with him. I think if they go cornerback early, it's probably they're probably going to trade him, but we'll see. They're going to give something.
Yeah, that's one I don't necessarily. I think if they're getting rid of Sean, they like the room, not to use the cliched saying that they love, but I don't anticipate they would trade Sean and then go out and use the first pick on a cornerback.
Yeah.
That would just be backwards to me. I think they would be, we'd probably see them draft one, but that's one area I trust them later in the draft to find someone. But I think we'd probably be looking at a Debo and probably Yidam.
Yeah.
That they would be comfortable with.
And you don't know where they're going to put Taylor, do you? You know,
right.
He
according to Taylor on Twitter, not safety.
Yeah. I mean, he obviously he had his ups and downs last year. He had some stellar moments, but he obviously had some pretty poor moments as well. And but Joey, you're right. They like the room, and it's one of the few areas I think as Saints fans that we sort of trust the Saints now with that area of the team, because their recruitment has been pretty spectacular over the last few years in that area. So you're probably right. If they are moving on from Sean, I
would hate the decision to trade Sean, but I wouldn't question that. Like they'd have a plan there.
Yeah. You got to get that first round pick, and maybe 2025 first round pick. But
so that was actually something I was going to bring up on the pod last week. Is would you want a first round pick? Like, is that your point, or do you think it'd be better to do something like a couple seconds in a third or whatever, just to have more accumulation of picks? I mean, look at our history. We do way better after the first round draft wise anyways. So I think I'd almost rather see them get more volume of mid-round picks than one first round pick.
I'm with you. I'm with you, Joe. I think they need the accumulation of picks because the thing that we talk about with the age of the team, and you've got to get younger, and the only way you really get younger is if you've got multiple draft picks.
Right.
So I would be
5 this year.
5 this year,
and 2 in the top 100 or whatever.
Exactly. And so if you can,
top 42, I think.
If you can get minimum 3 sort of seconds and thirds for Sean, maybe even 4 with a slightly, you've got to do it because at some point you've got to, we're not going to talk about the cap because obviously it's a fucking fallacy, but at some point you've got to start, you've got to try and address it a little bit by getting younger people in because that just gives you breathing space.
Even outside of the cap, like you just have to have that young core in place. Especially when so many of your leaders are going to be aging out. I hate to say that, but it's coming. And
interestingly, when Jeff Duncan came on the pod and he talked about the leaders that were establishing themselves in the locker room, it is a lot of these guys that we're probably looking to move on from in terms of, he said Michael Thomas was being more of a leader. He's going to go. Sean, potentially. Alvin, probably last year. So you've got to find those replacements in the locker room to lead because the older guys are going to retire as well. And you're going to be presented with a massive vacuum. And we've seen or we've heard rumors of the younger players not necessarily doing what the older players would have expected them to do. So that'll be interesting.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah. And actually it's funny, isn't it? Because the fact that because of the cafeteria situation, apparently, because training camps move, that's also, I think that's quite important, isn't it? Because with a new offensive coordinator coming in and the fact they're going to be, and literally there's no escape for them. They're going to be it's going to be completely isolated and in a bubble about having to be, obviously learn the system, but also just not having the ability to probably, as you was referencing, Dan, maybe not put the work in because they're going to be accountable because they're going to be there. Right. And I think that's quite important.
Or swim, isn't it?
Yeah, I think for whatever reason it's happening. I think that could be quite important this year.
Yeah. Yeah, we always hear about how it's great for the team when they're on the road and traveling. Yeah. Whether it be when, the hurricane hit and they had to go over to Texas, you always hear about a lot comes out of those trips. So
well, they had it in
the same.
They had it in 2017 as well, didn't they, Dan? When they came over here, they were on a bit of a slope, and then they came over here, got that victory, and then they sort of went on an amazing run after that. So I do think it builds camaraderie, trust, and it just developed probably good learning techniques, which
they came over in 2008 as well, and then went on to win the Super Bowl 2009 season. So there's a trend there of isolation, or small periods of concentrated isolation together builds good teamwork and good camaraderie amongst players. I know fans aren't happy about it because they can't go to practice, but if it means long term that it's going to work for the team, then you just got to swallow it. We're fans. We're not players. We're not owners.
Yeah, at the end of the day, there's fans everywhere too. I mean, we never get to go to training camps, so I'm sure there's going to be Saints fans in Cali that are happy about it. But it does suck because I'm sure that's something New Orleans looks forward to.
Yeah, I know someone who might be in California when they're there. Just saying. Any other Saints news, Mike? Any other Saints discussions?
No, I think we touched on maybe in release, didn't we? But we sort of think we'll look to. I mean, again, there's some decent safeties in free agency coming up, so that will be covered. They'll either do that in the draft or in free agency. But no, I don't. Yeah, again, it's that period of time. As I said, I haven't been completely immersed in it for various reasons, so I'd be quite happy.
Have you guys done a pod since the Kubiak hire and all the coaching stuff?
Last week. Last one was just after.
Yeah, no, we did Brian as well. I think he'd already been recruited.
Okay, I wasn't sure if that was before. Or...
Yeah.
It was official last week on the last one, because we were talking about Dennison and some of the coaches. There's Clint Kubiak's come out and he's voiced his opinion, saying he thinks he's going to say it's his son. But he said he thinks it's a really strong group of coaches he's put forward together on offense. And he thinks they'll be able to. Gary Kubiak, sorry. Did I say Clint Kubiak's son? Anyway,
he came out of nursery and had an opinion live on TV.
I can't deal with somebody who names all their kids with the same letter, because he's got like 4 boys or 5 boys, and their first names all begin with K. I can't deal with that. That's just weird.
Hopefully, none of their middle names begin with K.
Well, yeah. Well, at least it's not Duke.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. I suppose actually it's a key point. Like your thoughts on the Kubiak hire, Joey. What are your thoughts?
I'm excited. I mean, the one thing I wanted was an overhaul in offense. So I mean, I'm not really like in the weeds knowing all these different coaching trees and what he's going to bring, but where he's been and the potential of what he might bring is exciting. And at the end of the day, it's new, which I think is needed. So no complaints.
Yeah.
We'll have to see what happens, but
no,
so far I like it.
Yeah. We said last week, I think,
and he's obviously.
Go on, Mike.
No, Dan, you go.
I was just to say that we said last week the playbook was getting a bit tired, and it was who was it? It was the guy. It was the guy who was on. His name escapes me. Adam Ryan had on a Saints Block Party, and he said, it was a playbook designed for a Hall of Fame elite top quarterback, and you're trying to make a mid to fair QB do the same things that Drew Brees could do, and he was right. It's like it's not going to work. You can't. Right. It's apples and pears.
Yeah. All right.
I should have said apples and oranges. Sorry.
I was going to say you should have said that because you're talking about the stairs, and I think our listeners are going to be confused.
Well, exactly.
Yeah, it's hey, look, again, we're gonna fall into the Saints trap. We did it last year, didn't we? When in the off season, every decision that they seemed to be making was one that got everybody excited. But I think this is a genuine reason to get excited because, he's obviously been surrounded by football and football knowledge his whole life. So he's obviously immersed in football. He had the best teacher because of his father, and then he goes to teams where you have people who are hugely influential in the way that modern football is played now. So I'm happy whatever he tries. Again, it's like go for it, mate. Happy to see whatever it is you're trying to do, and obviously he's going to try and design an offense for the QB that he's got, which on the point that you were making, Dan, is what we need to do. You know,
if you can make Brock Purdy look like he's going to be MVP, then Derek Carr's got a chance.
My biggest concern is we always hear about Carr's struggles being due to new offensive systems. So
yeah,
he just learned this one. What's going to happen?
There might have to be a little bit of old sprinkled in just for familiarity, and then sort of take that away from him as he learns it. Maybe that's what a good coordinator will do when they're blooding a QB into a new system.
Where you assume, exactly. You assume if someone's designing a system and you would think they'd be designing it for the QB, you would have your ideas, but integrate them with what the QB does well. And we saw last year towards the back end, he looked all right when he it sounds very, very basic. When he was doing the right things, he looked okay. So hey, look, I'm excited about it. Anything as fresh and new as this, after what we've sort of seen for the last 3 years, is something to get excited about.
Yeah, we're not asking a lot here. Whether it works or not is a different question. Just let it be. Let it be fun to watch for a little bit, at least.
Exactly.
That's what I want. It's just enjoy the wins. That's our mantra, I think. Enjoy the wins.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to go to the old question, Joey. Was it the Saints or was it the City, my friend?
So it was the Saints for me.
Yeah.
But that was amplified by my mom has always loved the city.
Okay.
So for me, I've told this story a bunch of times. Being from Pennsylvania, I just really didn't. I wanted to be contrarian. You know, I didn't want to be an Eagles fan, a Steelers fan, a Cowboys fan. Wanted to go against the grain, so I just kind of watched football, played the football video games, and waited for something to grab me. And then Joe Horn pulled the cell phone out, and it was just, I was like, okay, that is all I need to see. That's the coolest celebration I've ever seen. Like, I was bought in at that point, and then learned more about the team and just like the culture and the attitude that they played with. And it didn't take long to just become completely enamored. But my mom had always loved the city, jazz. She was always fascinated by like voodoo and Marie Laveau and different things like that. So it was just kind of like the perfect marriage of, I fell in love with the Saints, and then it gave us something to bond over because she loved the city. So for me, it kind of ended up being both. And I didn't actually get down there myself until the meetup a couple years ago. What was that, 2020 season, 2021?
2021,
Always wanted to get down there. It just never worked out. My mom had been a bunch of times and always told me how much I would love it. And she wasn't kidding. I mean, it's like nowhere else I've ever experienced. And I'd almost say at this point now, it's more the city than the Saints for me.
Yeah, you're absolutely. It's just got something about it, hasn't it? And obviously, as you were saying, that bonding experience that you sort of were able to sort of initiate with your mom is obviously, that's a wonderful thing in itself. Obviously, the first time that you went to visit was for the Saints block party meetup.
Yep.
How excited were you? Because you not only were you going to see, but you're actually getting the opportunity to meet a number of people that you hadn't met before. So again, it's double whammy, isn't it?
Oh man, a triple whammy, because I had never even been to an NFL game before. Because my thing was always,
oh wow,
I want my first game to be the Saints, but I don't want it to be the Saints in like Philly. You know what I mean? As a Saints fan, like I wanted my first experience to be in the Dome. So to have that, meet all these people who I've formed incredible relationships with and just experience the city for the first time. I mean, I was on cloud 9. And I mean, after that trip, shoot, I was back 3 times the following year. Like, it didn't stop after that. So it definitely far exceeded even the lofty expectations that I had going into it. But it's pretty incredible that there's so many of us who have formed such tight bonds from all over the world.
Yeah.
Thanks in part to the Saints Block Party podcast community they built and everything. But at the end of the day, related to just the Saints and the city. I mean,
Yeah,
it's been incredible.
Well, you think even that season, I couldn't come to the meetup because I was in Florida at the time on family vacation, and then I was in New York, and we met you. You drove down to see me in New
Yep.
York, and we just sat in a bar for 4 hours and watched the Saints put the hurt on the Eagles, and then went in,
Incredible.
browsed some
Shout
comic
out
stores and got some
handcrafted New
pizza.
York City. Yeah. Exactly. Just to like have a situation like that where you're traveling to America from the UK and I'm 2 hours away, you're going to be in New York. It's like, oh shit, I'm just going to drive up and spend the day with you. Then we'll watch the game. Little things like that are just incredible.
Yeah.
So it's been great.
Yeah. So when you went to see, what were the first things that you did, Joey? I know I was there, but I was there with a certain Alex, so a lot of my memories are quite hazy of the time that I spent there that year.
I probably didn't see as much as you did of the city.
God, I just remembered what one of your first memories of the city would have been. Wasn't that Alex turning up at your hotel?
It was Alex turning up at my hotel. Alex, who I had never met and barely interacted with in the Discord, showing up at my hotel and asking. So this was probably 7:30 in the morning. He hadn't gone to sleep yet, and he walks into my hotel restaurant and tries to seat the waitress in their own restaurant. So I went down, met him. Yeah, that was like my first experience because I didn't get into much the first night, and then honestly, that first trip I didn't really do too much. Ended up I had wanted to get a tattoo by Jay Frost. Was able to get in with him on very short notice, like same day notice. So that ate up a lot of time, which was awesome. And then we had the meetup, dinner, the game, and then I think we went out on like bourbon for a little bit and Frenchman for a while. And then I checked out the zoo that first trip. But then the following trips, Jazz Fest, the draft party, the home opener, those next trips I got to see more magazine, St. Charles, get around the city and just I mean, it's unlike anything else. Everywhere you go has character, personality. You could strike up a conversation anywhere. Like there were a lot of nights I just went out to dinner by myself and would sit at the bar and end up talking to some random dude about nothing for 2 hours. Mike, I know you know all about that. Mike, that's your favorite thing about the city.
That's
so
Mike's thing. Yeah.
And
one of the things Mike likes is being out late because that's when all the service staff finish. So you get to drink with the people who really know the city and can really tell you their stories. And probably those individuals who don't necessarily get the same love from people coming over because they're just seen as service staff and actually take the time to have a conversation with them and hear about their story. I think that's a great part of the city. To me, it's like, I don't know, you've been Disney several times, Joey, as well, like me. It's like the best Disney for grown-ups. Like you can't, Disney's for kids and it's manufactured. This is completely natural, but it's like a living, breathing theme park. There's no
obviously
cliches.
The interactions are amazing, and those are some of the best parts about the trips. But some of my favorite times down there are just walking around the city by myself and just like admiring the architecture and like seeing different personalities. I mean, it's the type of place that everyone can be themselves and they're accepted for who they are. So that's one of my favorite things every time I go down there is just kind of wandering around without a goal and just taking in the new sights and the spirit of the city.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things to do as well. And obviously, last time myself and Dan went over, unfortunately, we had quite a lot organized, didn't we, Dan? And so we didn't get that opportunity really to sort of do the wandering thing that you're talking about, Joey. But it is especially that, that walk up magazine and just stopping off for a coffee or going into a bar for a drink. And then, you're right. And then, the people that you meet are absolutely
and
incredible.
The food. Oh my God, the food.
Yeah.
You'd be remiss to not talk about the food.
No,
I think
without a doubt we'll touch on that at some point, without a doubt. But I think the first time we met Joey was on that trip, and it was actually or was that the second night? Oh no, it must
So
have been.
I
your
would have
second.
met you
In
the
that, do you
first
know that
meetup
jazz
trip.
bar? Do you remember the jazz
So
bar?
I vaguely
Yeah,
remember the jazz bar.
yeah.
The old fashions were flowing that night.
Yeah.
That was the first trip. Dan wasn't there for that one.
No, unfortunately.
There's a wonderful picture of you with a British flat cap on.
Yeah,
from
I
that
look
evening.
great. I mean,
Yeah, you
I
do.
look
You
like,
suit a hat, Joey, as
big hat guy.
As that shot from Jazz Fest proves, you handsome bugger.
I'm gonna hire Mike to be my stylist one day.
Well, just your photographer. I'll do that, mate.
All right,
I'll do that. But that was also the night, I think, that because I turned up there to meet you guys, and Elise was there, and Adam was there, and loads of other people were there. But Alex wasn't. Alex had been with me, and that was the night that Alex got lost, and I had his phone, and we didn't know where he was.
Right.
And he was lost for a long time. That's where he asked a policeman to borrow his phone. He downloaded Instagram on this policeman's phone, and then he messaged me. Yeah, he messaged me
That's amazing. I never heard that.
I think
Alex.
the policeman was also. I'm not 100% sure, but I think the policeman was also on horseback. But yeah, so he got lost. I think he intentionally got lost because Alex, I think, tends to do that. Maybe
sounds like his thing. I wish So for as much as I love to wander around alone, I wouldn't mind maybe rather than experience it myself, I'd like to put like a GoPro on Alex for a night out. But it just seems like the thing movies are made of, you know?
Yeah. Do you know what it would be like? The video for Smack My Bitch Up by the Prodigy. That's what Alex on a night out on his own would be. 100%.
Exactly.
But instead of like when it pans around, it's not a woman with no clothes on. It's just Alex with kebab all over him.
Yeah.
Just
look, I'm not gonna lie. I've been trying to get Alex to get me into whatever his profession is, but he seems to be hesitant.
Yeah. Actually, you saying that, I think there is that I think there will be an option to maybe try and get some of that done because he bought those sunglasses, didn't he, with the camera?
He had those last year, yeah.
Yeah. So there is a possibility that obviously we can link that up to a PC one night when he's out and just enjoy Alex's night.
It would do numbers. A live stream of Alex's night out in New Orleans, or insert any random place in the world that he's at any given time.
I'm unofficially becoming Alex's agent. I'm going to try and negotiate with Netflix for that series.
I mean, you might be able to go Disney for that. Or maybe not Disney, actually. Wouldn't be appropriate.
No. you don't want that.
Netflix is probably good. Netflix is probably
it'll be that'll be trending.
Brits Abroad MI5 edition.
Yeah. Yeah. What a guy.
He's just a bit legend. Yeah,
but then I mean, we did Jazz Fest was an incredible experience. Man, we had a great time there, huh?
Yeah, I think we've touched on it before, Joey, when we've spoken about it. It was that hour or so that we spent in initially the gospel tent, which was just absolutely superb.
Amazing.
And then I think we trotted along across the way. I think it was the blues tent, wasn't it? And then it's just what it's because obviously Jazz Fest, like I've explained it to people over here who sort of aren't sort of interested in American football or New Orleans. So when I explain Jazz Fest, and it's like a festival that finishes at, is it 7:00?
Yeah, I think.
I think we left early every time. So
So they're sort of a bit surprised that it's not a festival that you camp out at and you do all that sort of thing.
Well, I'm sure festival is different for. I mean, you guys have some festivals over there that they're bucket list items. I mean, you guys. I suppose
Glastonbury, Leeds, Reading, those sort of ones.
Reading would be one for Joey, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, Leeds, without a doubt.
Reading.
Phoenix would have been one if that was still going.
That was my favorite festival. Phoenix Festival was a wonderful festival. The Phoenix Festival is the one and just on a tangent here, that was the one that always had the most eclectic mix of music.
That's what I like. I mean, but then speaking of that, talk about Jazz Fest. I was gonna say, maybe you answered this, but where else are you gonna go to a gospel tent when the world is ending with the amount of rain outside? Then bop over, see Ed Sheeran, and then on the way out, catch Wu-Tang.
Yeah.
Like, it was just an incredible incredible experience.
No,
and we didn't
And
even
the
go to
food. I
that,
go
that
back to the
stage
food.
at the front.
Oh my God.
That
Yeah.
stage at the front, which had Robert Plant was playing with Alison Krauss at the front there. So that was
yeah.
completely different. And do you know the thing that pisses me off still? I still think about it a lot. When we walked down Bourbon Street that night, when we walked up to Frenchman,
Gotta be more
yeah.
specific. I've done that every time I've gone to Bourbon.
We walked up to Frenchman, walked around, went to the toilet, and came back. And Eric was moaning that his feet hurt.
Don't even get me started on Eric telling us we're about a mile away from some bar and then walking us like 3.5 miles up Magazine or St. Charles or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Want to hear about his feet hurt.
That night we was walking up Bourbon towards Frenchman, and this guy with blonde hair walking towards this woman. I thought I recognised that guy. He walked past, and then I was like, "Fuck, that's Robert Plant."
Yeah.
Right. He was outside.
Yeah.
And Jean Lafitte's up that way.
Jean Lafitte.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just as we came at John, and I was just so. I think we
come
looked
to
at each
find.
other.
Didn't someone say he just goes in there and just plays sometimes?
He played Preservation Hall, I think, that day during the day.
He played there.
I was just so pissed I didn't stop and get a photo with like one of the biggest rock legends alive still from that era. It's just like, shit.
At least the show of one.
Yeah. Dead behind the eyes, probably, but
yeah.
All right.
He's forgotten more than I'll ever see.
Exactly. Yeah. I hope probably for the best with some of the things they've seen as well.
You're not kidding.
So when you go, so you've been there quite a few times now, Joey. Obviously, so your decision was it last year when you went for the opening game? And did you go down on your own?
Yep. Yeah, I bought 2 tickets and essentially just threw in the Discord like, "Hey, anyone who wants to go, let me know." But that was another kind of bucket list thing. I wanted to be in the Dome for a home opener.
What was that
great.
like? Because obviously you've been there a few times. Is there just the absence of football must percolate? It must make people a little bit more excited about everything.
So I was listening to the episode you guys did with Charles, Scottish Houdat, shout out Scottish Houdat, and he talked about it. He related it to being like a religious experience. I don't remember much from any time I've been in the Dome because I pretty much just black out, and not from like drinking or anything.
No,
just like the overall experience and vibe, like I'm just on another planet. So I mean, it was an amazing experience. One thing I remember about that was, if I'm not mistaken, I get them confused as far as what games they were. I'm pretty sure there was a pretty heavy contingent of opposing team fans, which was noticeable. And then about halfway through the game, it was clear so many of them had left. And it was just a pretty cool feeling to like see it go from like very mixed to just very Saints.
Yeah.
Was incredible.
We had that when we went to see the Saints play the Jets at the MetLife, and we put a stomping on them, and it was just Saints fans left in there towards the end of the fourth quarter, and we were dancing, and there was someone dressed as Santa in a gold Santa outfit, and there's no better feeling than just putting a whooping on a team so bad their fans just all fuck off.
Right.
It's just like, love that. And in the UK, at a soccer game in the UK, that's when you drop the whole cheerio, 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 and wave to them as they all walk out.
I think it's also worth noting New Orleans sports teams are undefeated with me in attendance.
Yeah.
For a minute there until the meetup game this past year, they hadn't let up a touchdown. But Pelicans and Saints undefeated with me in attendance. So I am open to season tickets for whatever we could work out.
Yeah.
Look at the turnaround the Pelicans have had since you become a fan. Look, they're on the up
I'm
and
saying.
Just bringing the vibes. Just bringing the vibes.
Yeah. That's it.
Do you know, like, I've got my
diehard Pelicans fan since last year.
I've got my Alvin Kamara
lifelong
prayer candle.
Lifelong.
In the Pelicans locker room, they've got one of these with Joey on.
So I'm disappointed that you don't have one of those with me on it.
Well, I'm sure I can get one.
For the next meetup, I might have to gift them to everybody.
That
See what
should
I can
be
work
that should be
Joey
like
prayer
a
candle.
Saint. We should do like a SaintsCityMe, Saints Block Party, Chocobo Chasers crossover, where we issue out prayer candles for prominent members of the community, and we just
I would
start
take
passing
that.
around to people.
Yep.
That's such a good idea. I'm gonna do
Yeah.
it. I'm gonna find someone to
I
do
volunteer to be the first one.
it.
Dude.
The Joey candle.
It shouldn't be too hard, you know. I've been told I have a little Jesus in me, so
Yeah,
Well,
I think
yeah,
anybody
and-
watching this will see.
yeah.
Yeah, we probably just layer you over some of the Jesus ones. Although they had a Dennis Allen one at the airport when I left last time. I was so tempted to buy it, but I thought, oh, people are just going to ruin me if I buy a
You
Dennis
could
Allen
probably
prayer
actually
candle.
just get a Jesus one and say it's me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's what we
Something to
have
think
to
about.
do.
Something to think about. You know, a quick fix.
Exactly.
yeah. What scent
Yeah,
would you
it'll-
have though? What scent? What would you want it to smell like?
I've been
It's gotta
big
have- it's gotta
into
have a distinct
Palo
smell.
Santo lately. So I'd probably go with some Palo Santo related. I got a little
I don't
Palo
know what that
Santo
is.
candle burning in the background. there.
Oh, I see. Okay.
You may notice, Jay, that me and Dad sort of glazed over and looked at each other like, "Do you know what that is? Can you talk about that?" But yeah, neither of us have any idea.
What's the Yankee candle equivalent?
Palo Santo.
Okay, look, I'm going to find it.
It would
I'm gonna have to
actually
find
be
it
called
now.
that. Yeah, I got
Can
hooked
you
on it
spell
in the
that for me?
pit at a Dead and Company show.
Ah,
It
Oh,
was
is that when you
so
was
it's
over
kind
up
of a
in Boulder?
hippie thing, you know? In Boulder, yeah. That was
Yeah.
crazy. Wild experience.
Santo.
Alex would have had a great time with me there.
Probably filling in his
Have
CIA
you got it yet,
files
Dan?
on people.
Yeah.
I've phonetically. Oh, fucking hell.
Oh my
I've done it like
God.
the kids do. When
Oh, this is my favorite
basically
part
spell
in the
it
show.
like it sounds. Spell it like it sounds.
You want me to spell it?
Phonically.
No. We'll phonically. I've done it phonically. I'm sure I'll work it out. Polisanto. Didn't he play for the Steelers?
Not Palo Santo. Palo Santo. Palo. Not Polly.
Got it.
In t-
Polo. Got it.
in time-honored tradition, what great podcasting, Dan.
This is the best. This is the best podcasting when it goes like this.
It's
You
You
official.
know
go-
when like
When it
when
goes
other
tits
people
up.
go, "This is shit podcasting." That's when it's our best podcasting.
That's good. I mean, just fast forward to 45 minutes in every time after a couple drinks go down. You know?
Yeah.
That's when it gets
I
That's
good.
when it goes off.
Not in a horrid way, Joe. You can fast forward to 3 minutes in because sometimes me and Dan have had a little bit too much before we even jump on.
On brand. I would expect nothing
yeah.
else.
Exactly. It depends what time we're recording. If for whatever reason we're recording at 11 p.m. with somebody from the States, obviously being British, myself and Dan can't hold out for that long. So
To be fair, your guys' is
I've
a
got it.
little bit too much
I've
is
got it.
probably my couldn't even imagine.
Polisanto. There you go. Got it. It's a.
Is that
It's
corn?
well, if it's tree porn, it's a sacred wood. There
Yeah.
you go. Look, it's going to be woody.
Yeah.
There you
You
go.
burn it to clean the air and the energy.
Oh,
around
okay.
it.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah, I might try that.
Similar to
I can do that at
sage.
work.
It's similar to sage. It's like
Okay.
smells way better.
To be honest, even before Dan searched it up, you could have just said that, Joey. It would have saved a lot of time for Dan.
Yeah, but it wouldn't have been as fun.
Yeah, exactly. We wouldn't have that comedic
We wouldn't have
moment.
got Palo Santo.
And
You
platonic.
would-
Yeah. Or
And
yeah,
Steelers
platonic, phenonic.
safety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Golden.
Let's
golden.
right, Dan.
Swiftly moving on. Is it? Is it swiftly?
No, not moving on. Swiftly getting back. Swiftly getting
Back to
back.
the
I think. So obviously, and the great thing you were talking there earlier, and yet again, I think it's absolutely wonderful. We've talked before. Obviously, we've had Adam and Ryan on, but we've talked to a number of guys who have come out to the city with us as well. But obviously, the community is wonderful. But it was that thing where you went over and you met Dan in New York. For me, is like absolutely incredible. You know, because yet again, from the British perspective, because obviously you see a lot of people talking about this, but in the UK, if you think you've got to drive a couple of hours somewhere, you're like, fuck's sake, that's a long drive. Obviously, we know from the States, that's a short hop skip to get somewhere.
Nothing.
It
But
wasn't just a drive. He then got the train from Jersey over to New York to meet me.
Now that was just easier. I don't want to don't talk me up on that. That was kind of me cheating because I didn't want to park in the city or drive through the city. But I'll take the credit. Yeah, I did do a lot to get to see you.
That was just convenience, Dan. Don't give him any fucking credit for that.
Yeah.
No, I genuinely was nervous because I hadn't met anyone from the Discord. I'd met Adam and Eric when they came to London.
Yeah.
But that was in our London.
Your manor.
That was in our backyard.
Did they come to North London, South London?
North
South
London.
North.
Okay. North with an F at the North London.
I'm gonna have to do the whole trip when I get out there.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll take you around the North Circular. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Yeah, you won't enjoy that.
Baggy Dan told me we could drive by Scranton.
Yeah.
I don't know what the South Circular is, but we'll quickly go through South London. Apologies out to our guy Bruce.
Yeah, but you'd agree with us.
But yeah, I mean, it was amazing to
But I was nervous because I hadn't met you before, and it was someone that I've got on really well with online. And I was like, I don't want to. Yeah. It sounds like a date. It's not a date, obviously. But he's like, I don't want to fuck this up.
It was a bro date.
It was a bro date. I was like, I don't want to fuck it up, and I don't want Joey to be like, this guy's a dick. What have I done? But then
you bought me a
out
drink.
The secret weapon. We bought a lot of drink. We bought a lot of drink, a lot of food,
and we didn't have to pay for it. And that was the best part.
Didn't pay for it. Just gave the guy a massive tip, and he wiped the bill clean. But the best bit was I bought out a secret weapon, didn't I? I brought Dilbra out.
Yep, Dilbra. Shout out Dilbra. That's my guy. If I was
Dilbra
around when he was born, I would be his godfather for sure.
Oh, that's definitely. His middle name probably would be Joseph or something if you'd been around then. Maybe
Joey.
His first name, to be fair. Joey too.
Joey Blake.
There we go. Joey Blake Harper.
I'll leave. Tell me when you're not finished. Just let me go, guys.
Well, there's room for one more. There's room for one more, Mike.
I'll stay over here. I'll let you guys crack on. Come on.
It's not a dance. It's not a high school dance.
No, but that was amazing. And just to talk about the impact that the city has on people and places all over the world. We found this Saints bar that, I mean, it was all Saints, everything. They had the game. It was all Saints fans. But not only that, they had some of the best gumbo I've ever had in my life. And a DJ playing all the Superdome songs. And anytime there was a first down. Yeah, it was unbelievable. That was great.
We said about the bill. So we'd been drinking. I got there at
we were drinking for 4 hours.
I got there at 11. Yeah, I got there at 11 o'clock. Hit the Purple Haze straight away because they had New Orleans beers as well. It wasn't just they had the Alligator, a beta one. They had Purple Haze and a couple of others. So I started drinking. I said, just run as a tab. Joey comes in. We gets in just as kickoff comes on. We're drinking. Nick and Dill come in with the kids and Evie. We're having food, drinking. We had burgers. We had gumbo. New guy comes on the bar. He goes to us, "Joe, boys, just pay for the food. I don't want anything for the drinks."
Wow.
And we was like, "What?" And,
the food we left him a generous tip.
We just left him a big old tip, but it definitely didn't come out of booze we went.
Was that because you were Saints fans? And obviously, hearing Dan knowing
I think it was probably so. I don't know if it was the owner of the bar or what, but it definitely had something to do with us being from different places. Probably more so Dan being in from the UK than me being in from Pennsylvania. But
we both got Saints stuff on, and
his appreciation of two foreigners supporting that team so passionately in the middle of New York. Crazy.
Yeah, so that was awesome.
It's as well, we was having conversations with the people around us, and they could obviously hear that we weren't from Louisiana, weren't from New Orleans, but we were talking so lucidly about the team and putting our opinions across and knowledgeable that I think there was this isn't what we used to. We used to just transplants from Louisiana or Mississippi coming up here and living in New York for work and coming here for a bar. But next time there's another one we should try if we're all in. If a few of us are in town, there's one sort of bit more further uptown, which is a Saints bar as well. But that one was great. The food was great. It was good location. I think it was Lennox, somewhere right around Lenox Hill or Kips Bay, somewhere like that. 3rd Avenue, 2nd Avenue.
That's what Google Maps is for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Got it up there.
Dan.
I retain it for when I have to do my citizenship test one day.
There you go.
What they're going to ask you? Where's the best Saints bar in New York?
Look, I'm going to be like
Handcrafted.
when a black
Handcrafted
cab
New
driver
York
does the
City.
knowledge. Any question about America, just give it to me. What goes on at Main Street in Dayton, Ohio? Well, it's where Adam Troutman goes to get his Sunday lunch. There you go. Look, he's a ready-made
What's he
American.
get there?
He knows everything.
What's he get
I
there?
don't know. Fucking
Yeah, exactly.
salmon and trout.
Yeah.
Well, fish joke.
Well, he's not catching nothing. I know that. Well, certainly not in a
He
Saints.
got a touchdown, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Or did that get
He
called
caught
back?
a couple. No, he caught a couple for the Broncos.
Yeah.
He's free agent this
Big
year.
Trout. Shout out Big Trout.
We'll bring it back. Bring it back. We won't get Brock Bowles. We'll just bring Adam Troutman back.
I saw him on the list. No, I need Bond back. You know I need Bond back. That's my boy.
Oh, we need. Yeah, I mean, change up if they can. We go back to Saints now, but if they can,
It was
learn
so
how to use it
vindicating.
properly.
So vindicating to see him be used how he should have been used the whole time and succeed.
Absolutely.
The frustrating thing is, it was almost like a carbon copy repeat of Caden Ellis. It's like, oh shit, we're gonna have to use this guy in a different way now, and he balls out, and you're like, oh shit, he's a free agent. It's like,
Yep.
Yeah, you hope there isn't a massive market for him, but
he's definitely getting New England.
Yeah,
he's got New England written all over him.
But also, you get it's not.
Pittsburgh.
He's not going to be expensive if we are going to bring him back. But then that is part of the problem because he won't be that expensive to bring back, which means he won't be that expensive for someone to poach him away.
Do you know what? Did it with Trey Hendrickson as well, didn't we? Didn't use him until we absolutely had to, and then blows up. I still maintain that Dennis Allen is a great defensive coordinator. I know people will disagree with that. I think he's a really good defensive coordinator, but judgment-wise on some of these pass rushers is fucking atrocious in terms of using them when they're desperate, and then everyone's seeing how good we knew they were. Like, shout out Corey and Caden Ellis. Maybe we'll get Ellis's brothers in the draft this year. Maybe we'll get him Jonah.
It's incredible that they could be so set in their ways of we need these metrics as far as height and weight, and we're not going to consider anyone else. When you look around the league and those aren't the guys having the most success.
But also that is
mind blowing.
But also the metrics that they use are becoming redundant in the league because teams don't play that way anymore.
There's too many mobile quarterbacks.
Exactly. And God, we literally, we all know what it's like when you're in the Discords and whatever. The moment you're due to play an opponent and they got a mobile quarterback, it's like, oh, for fuck's sakes.
I'm taking their rushing yards every time.
Yeah. So, yeah, let's look. I'm with you, Jay. I hope Bourne's back, and I hope they utilize him in a position that he was successful in college, and for whatever reason they tried to change his position. But let's hope that they're able to get him back. And yet again, he'll be just a supplementary piece, but actually that's what we need.
Yeah,
you're right.
So,
we almost need to have 4 of them rotating because unless we get a top draw defensive end, you just need some half decent ones to be rotating.
I'd like to be able to bring them back and use them right. One thing that I've always had a feeling was going to happen was I'm pretty sure him and TJ Watt are tight.
Okay.
So I wouldn't be surprised to see him end up in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he's
and a 3-4 would suit him as well.
Yeah. The caveat is if you bring him back, you got to use him how you use him to end the year.
Yeah.
Thing is,
but then I'm assuming if he's in discussions with the Saints, then that's going to be a question that he's going to pose them because I don't think there'll be much of a market for him, but there'll be a market for him because actually you saw towards the end of the season that if you give the guy the opportunity, and especially some of the moves he was coming up, it was just like that was the worst part.
Yeah,
the moves that he was utilizing, you were like, that's obviously in his locker. So there'll be a market for him. Hey, look,
I think any team that runs a 3-4 will be in for him. I think.
Yeah.
And they keep doing this. They keep bringing in these defensive players who are 4-3. Like Isaiah Foskey, he's a 4-3 defensive end. He's a stand-up, rush the passer, and they're going to try and turn him into Cam Jordan. It's not going to work. And it's going to be the same thing again. He's going to do fuck all for 3 years. Last year, they're going to have to play him. He's going to ball out and he's going to go to the Steelers, or he's going to go to a team like that, or the Ravens, or someone like that. It's just I don't know. Either pick the ones, but even like the guys they're looking at now, they're all listed as outside linebackers. Yeah. All the defensive ends they're looking at in the draft will be linked with. So I don't know. I'll stop ranting. Let's talk more about alcohol and the city and food and Jazz Fest and or not. Yeah, we're a Saints podcast, but we're a bit of both.
Well, you're Saints and the City podcast. And
exactly.
Joe, I had an idea, and I thought we could even set up our own podcasting network, right? And the website
can you tell that Dan's had a couple of drinks?
I've had a few beers. We could set it up, and it could be called. The website would be The City and Me, and we just have like 32 podcasts for each team, and it's like this format. And now I've put it out there. It's like almost like it's IP. So I'm fucking.
You'll be the next Locked On.
Yeah.
Locked On. City and
I'm
Me.
Sure
podcasts.
Ross can help you guys out with that.
Yeah.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about.
You're on to something. You should actually cut this. You should cut this so nobody else.
I might cut this, or I might just go.
You're right. You've got the IP, mate. It's recorded. It's down. It's date stamped. You're okay. Especially in American courts. Hey, mate, let someone nick it. Yeah. You can win millions.
That's your
Someone needs to set me up a website, cityandme.com, and then we just start doing it. And we can get people like our mate Matt to do a Jets one, and you can have little tweaks on it.
Yeah.
Although if the Saints ever leave, we're changing this to the Pelicans, the Parish, and me.
Yeah. Let's not put that out into the universe.
No. Dan, these ideas sound very good, actually, and it's like a franchisable sort of
yes, exactly.
opportunity that you're putting forward. Yeah, shut up about it then, because someone else will do it. Even though you've got the IP on it, somebody will find a way around it.
Website registered. Let's go. I can get a Texans one going and a Jets one going straight away. I've got the contacts. We just need to find another 29 fans.
And make sure all 29 teams have a city worth.
Yeah. That's where it falls out. Javi, that's where it falls over. And I am not going to pick on the normal cities that we pick on.
Jacksonville.
No. You know the two that normally come up. But anyway, yeah.
Cleveland and Cincinnati. Must be something about Ohio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, Jerry.
Hey, Dan, you do know somebody who could do the Browns one.
Who? Not Paul Brown.
Anyway, moving on. So go right now. Any more IP ideas?
I've got some for Paul, but we'll leave that because I don't want to.
That's our other.
I'm joking.
Oh, you guys have another one? The Saints, the penis, and me.
No, the Saints, the shitter, and me.
You know what? I'm digressing slightly, but after the Super Bowl, we all stayed in hotels around Wembley because we all watched it at that box park in Wembley. And me and Mike in the WhatsApp group we got for the UK guys, our small group, we see
that's what I need to get.
Are you really putting this out there, Dan? God.
Everyone was like, "How's everyone feeling this morning?" And you just got a photo of Mike sitting on the shitter in the mirror, and then I find back exactly the same photo because I was in there at the same time. Not in his photo.
Not in the same. Not in my one. Come on, Dan.
I mean, now that we don't judge.
All right.
You got them side by side ones.
Dan.
Yeah, I got to get into that UK WhatsApp as an honorary member.
I thought you meant I've got to get into taking pictures on the shitter. But
I wasn't trying to get into your shitter, dude.
Yeah. Oh God. Swiftly moving on.
I can get you into Brit. I can get you into the Brits are coming 100%. I think I'm admin.
No, the Brits came.
The Brits came.
What an appropriate group name. Anyway. So let's go back to the last visit where we were all there together, Joey. How was that one for you? Because obviously, as you were saying, on your first visit, you took it a little bit lighter, and so over a period of time, you've been going back and you've sort of been expanding your what are we looking at? Oh, has he got you in it?
There's I'm officially an honorary Brit. Perfect.
Yeah. And that also, and just sorry, where you're talking about honorary Brit, that picture on the last night that we took when we were walking down Bourbon to Frenchman, where there's the whole of us, that's a sensational picture.
Love that picture.
That's one of my favorite pictures that I've ever taken. That one.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
Great night. I was the only American there, right?
No, honorary Brit, mate. Honorary Brit.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
and
gave that.
I'd gone, but no, great night you had.
Yeah. But so you get more comfortable in the city. So when you go back, are you just a little bit more, for want of a better, I was going to say adventurous, but we need to touch on the Murder Hotel because that's adventurous in itself to keep staying there, baby.
Yeah, I'll probably keep staying there. I've had fine experiences, but yeah, that was great. I think that was my second trip in. I'm staying at the hotel on St. Charles there, and I'd catch an Uber back, and my driver's like, "You're staying here?" And I was like, "Uh-huh." And she was like, "You know someone got murdered there this week, right?" And I was like, "Nope, thank you. Thanks for letting me know right now." She's like, "Yeah, like a couple got murdered in their hotel room." I was like, I'm really excited to walk in and sleep there now. But yeah, I haven't had any issues. And I like that spot because it's a quick walk up to Magazine.
Yeah.
It's right on the streetcar line as well, isn't it? Like
right on the streetcar line. So it's just a good like central area to get around.
And it's also because I think last year me and Dan were off doing something, and a load of guys came over to I think your hotel, didn't they?
Yeah,
the rooms there are huge, aren't they?
It was a decent sized room. Yeah.
Yeah. I think they were like, it compared to half the hotels you stay in. Like I think yours, from what they were saying, yours quite
definitely
big,
like a way bigger room than what I normally get in a hotel.
Yeah. But you're right. It's ideally located, because obviously you're on the line there. As you say, it's maybe a 10-minute walk down to Magazine, if that.
Not even, yeah.
Yeah, and so it's absolutely superbly located. It's somewhere that actually I think, I mean, apart from this year when we go over for French Quarter Fest, in future I'll probably try and stay a little bit further out that way because you're away from a little bit of the madness, and also because it just like Audubon, all that sort of thing, you can get there from there really simply.
It's such a nice walk down St. Charles. If you cut through,
you got Superior right there with the best queso in the world. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Where was the place we went to meet Jess and she was gone? It was a similar name. It wasn't Supreme Grill. That was quite nice.
Yeah, maybe.
We didn't eat in there. They had a piano player, and it's like a bit more up class, but that was a nice.
They didn't have sort of the layout. Queso.
No,
I didn't have queso.
To be honest, the vibe there was pretty chill, wasn't it? Obviously, when you're in and around,
it was more uptown.
Yeah. But also, had a sort of looked classy and sounded classy, and it was nice to spend an hour or so there just having a quiet beer, wasn't it?
Also, I was hungover as fuck.
Yeah.
No,
it was like Bud Light for me, please. You saw how bad I was when I walked back with a Sprite to my chair in the dome. I was like, "Excuse me, just a Sprite."
There's legitimate concern when that happens.
Yeah.
You guys are like, "Do you want to come up here?" I was like, "No, I'm fine." It's like, you might need an exit to be sick.
Working through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the last trip, though, getting back to the question, was good about the last trip was just there was so many more people. Like we got to meet so many people that we've known through the Discord and Twitter and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, just such an incredible group of people from all over. Like the first year was pretty cool. Yeah. But that was like 20 people or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know how many people were at this last one, but it felt like like 50 people.
Yeah.
From all over.
Yeah.
Sherman, London, from Cali. Oh, those guys.
Yeah, Sherman, London, all the UK guys. I'm sure.
John, obviously coming over from your neck of the woods as well, and
who was that?
Brock, Bijan.
Oh yeah, Bijan was there.
Bijan was there. Yeah, Brock, Tony, obviously, just Eric. Just so many people. Just
it's all blurred.
You feel bad leaving people off, even like people I didn't really interact with, like Zach and people like that. Just like So many people, like you sort of had some interaction with them. Don't even realize you're linked in with, not LinkedIn, got them on Twitter or whatever else. Just like phenomenal experience.
Yeah, that's definitely the best part. Didn't really do anything new that time, just more wandering around, hitting some new restaurants and stuff. Yeah.
No, it's great. It's but also it's even when you go back, and even if you don't do new stuff and you do the same stuff, it feels new when you do the same stuff.
Yeah,
because again, it almost touching on the point that you have, Joe. It's a lot of the time it's the, aside from the people that you know and the people that you might be there with, it's the people that you meet when you're there, and that's what makes it feel brand new and exciting. Because they're a different breed of character, which as Dan alluded to earlier, it's why I like to go out. I'm quite happy. Like even when I travel over normally to the city for whatever it is, whether it's a meetup or it's Jazz Fest, I always try, if possible, to get there a day or two earlier than everybody else, just so I can have that moment where I can go out on my own and do exactly what we're talking about, which is just meet some local people, or as Dan was saying, especially later at night when you meet some of the service industry guys, and they're fantastic to talk to. Because they're brutally honest as well.
Yeah,
I mean that's why I'm looking forward to French Quarter Fest like immensely, because it's not Jazz Fest, it's not ticketed, so you can just like, I could say to like Corey, do you want to come and hang out with us at this stage? And he can just come down and meet us, and we can have some beers, and you're not tied to this isn't ticketed. Anyone can come along. We're going to have to meet Jess, and obviously we'll reach out to Elise and everyone else. But it's
tip the hat, by the way, to Jess for what she's doing for us when we're over there.
Yeah, she's still sorting us out some access tickets, which is wonderful.
Oh, nice.
Deeply appreciative for that.
Yeah,
but you know what I mean? It's like, imagine having a festival where it's free, and you could just like hang out, and then you go and come back and do other stuff. It just like sounds like a dream.
Yeah,
it's a shame that it's not closer to the Saints Block Party meetup. You could have got an Airbnb for a couple of weeks, Joey, and hung with us, worked, and then
we'll see. I got some things going on, so I'm not sure when I'll be able to get down there. It might just be the main meetup. I'll definitely try and be there for that.
Yeah.
But man, I'd love to get down there for the draft weekend, Jazz Fest, or French Quarter Fest. But we'll see.
It was funny because obviously when the Stones were announced for Jazz Fest, because obviously I like to go over twice a year, one period for games and one period for sort of more cultural events, music, festival sort of thing. And when before myself and Dan had decided we were going over French Quarter, I really thought about going to Jazz Fest because the Stones were playing. I've never seen them play live, and obviously there's not going to be much longer for them to be playing live, I wouldn't have thought.
Right.
And then the other night, and I was quite disappointed because when I went over last year, I stayed on the extra day, didn't I, Dan, to see Seal, the musician. I love him.
Right.
And it's exactly the same thing. When Jazz Fest is happening this year, on ordinary, if I had gone on the day I would have been coming back, Yeba is playing New Orleans, and I love Yeba. I don't know if any of you know her, but she's phenomenal.
No.
But anyway, that's just a personal thing. So I just thought I'd throw that out there.
One thing I will say, I'm not blowing any trumpets, but I was DMing a former Saints player today, and he said, "Oh, let me know if you want to hang out at French Quarter Fest." So I'm like, yes, we do.
Yeah.
If you've listened to our pod, you know who that player is because we've only ever had one player on.
Yeah.
Let me know if you want to hang out. I was like, yes, I do.
What do you know right now?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So yes, so we got, and that's cool because going over, obviously we've got some little things arranged for when we're over, and that's always nice to sort of go there with a bit of an itinerary, but also just to have that opportunity to sort of have a little bit of freedom
and flexibility.
Yeah, exactly.
And when I go down there, like I try to have something I'm going down there for, whether it's a game, concert, or whatever. But I also always have a couple days of just no plans to be able to do whatever happens.
Yeah, and that I think that's when. Sorry, Dan, go on, mate. I was just saying.
Me and Nick are like that. She likes to play on all our holidays. I'm like, no, have a point to vibe and just chill and just see what we like and do it. Because if you lock into loads of stuff and it's shit, you're like, but I can't do anything else now. Whereas if you block in some free times, I was like, right, these are the days that we're going to be in California that we're not doing anything. These are the days I want to meet Adam and London and whoever else. And so just don't block anything in. Just see where we end up. It's the best way of doing things.
I'm a little disappointed neither of you guys threw in a Wagwan at that little exchange. I thought I was the
I don't think we can get away with it.
Shout out Baggy Dan.
Can I just show you the name of this beer that I'm drinking? It's called Hadouken, as in like
Hadouken.
Street Fighter. Hadouken. Right.
Hadouken.
What cool name for beer? Sonic Boom.
That is pretty cool.
I like it.
Jesus Christ.
That might be a little after Mike's time.
Yeah, Mike's not a Street Fighter. Mike's more of a
Call of Duty.
I don't know. What's
Atari?
that?
Yeah.
Pac-Man?
Yeah, Commodore 64.
Yeah.
See, I shaved the fucking white beard off so that I wouldn't get any more of these ageist remarks.
It's growing back in. It looks good.
But yeah, I realised
you gotta have a beard. You gotta have a beard. Come on.
It's only been about a week and it's already getting there.
I told Nick I was going to dye this, and she told me I wasn't allowed to. I said I might just touch out to it. No, I like the pepper, salt and pepper.
No.
There you go.
Fine.
Yeah, mine's not salt and pepper anymore, mate. Is it? It's just fucking salt.
Nothing wrong with that.
No.
What do they call him? A silver fox, gray fox?
No, so I just won't have it Father Christmas long anymore.
You're like your beard is like a Bolivian chemist dream. Pure white.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Oh dear. Right, so going back, right. Couple of questions that we ought to ask you. So when you go down there, you touched on a little bit earlier, Joey, about the food. So you've already touched on one of your favorite food moments in the city.
Superior, gotta hit it every time.
Yeah.
Superior Grill, get the queso. If I recommend nothing else,
the guac's good as well. The guac and queso.
The guac is good, but I'm sorry, just give me like 2 tons of the queso and I'm good.
But also, they give you a generous portion of it, don't they? I mean, Jesus,
it's like a fucking bowl of soup. It's
a big old portion. It really is.
Koshan was another good one.
Koshan's good. What did you have?
Koshan's really good. I don't even remember, man. I sat at like the little bar area where they make the food, and the chef was just feeding me stuff.
Oh, did you go to the butcher?
The butcher or the restaurant? Yeah.
I'm not sure which one it was.
Oh, so I've never been to the butcher, but I had.
It might have been the butcher because that bar was there.
Because you got the
that was really good.
Fucking hell, you've got the.
Go on, say it, Dan. Charcuterie.
Charcuterie board.
Charcuterie board.
Charcuterie
in the butcher.
The charcuterie board.
Charcuterie board. Just Max is going to absolutely text me after this and give me so much shit for not being able to
shout out Max for hooking us up with the crawfish at
yes.
I forget I don't even know if it had a name.
The Post.
But the post.
Yeah.
That was solid.
Yeah, that was really lovely.
I was messaging Max today, actually. We was texting each other because Hanson's opened yesterday after being closed.
I was just gonna say next time I'm down there I gotta get to Hanson's with him.
Well, I texted him and said, when Hanson's back open? He was like, it's opened yesterday. And he sent me a picture of a grape snow blitz and something else snowball he had, and it just looked phenomenal. So I said, I'm definitely going there. But I had
I'll go there again.
Yeah, fuck you. You got a Blue Oak again, are you? I want to go Parkway Bakery this time for a po'. But at Koshan, I had the oyster and bacon sandwich, and it was phenomenal. Fried oysters, bacon, lettuce, remoulade sauce. Unbelievable. Really good.
Delicious. I'm trying to look up. There was a spot on Magazine that I've been to a couple times that I really liked. I can't remember the name of it.
Well, we went to Coop's place as well, didn't we? With 3 of us when you're.
Oh yeah, that was great when my flight got canceled.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about the connection we formed. My flight gets canceled, and I was actually excited. I wasn't even mad about it because I knew you guys were still there. So I was just like, "Hey, can I crash with you guys for a night?" And you're like,
And I
absolutely,
slept
we got an
slept
air
the
mattress
blow
or
up bed.
whatever.
We had a blow up bed, didn't we?
Yeah, it was perfect.
So
Coos place is really good. Yeah.
We had that blow up bed because I said to Adam, "Don't worry about hotel. You stay in our room, and we'll just get a rollaway bed." So he would organise the draft party, and then I phoned the Sheraton. I was like, "No, kind of a rollaway bed." So I just like, fine. Took a blow up mattress with me, just blew it up. Adam slept on that when he was in town. He left. You got your flight cancelled. You slept on it. It was brilliant. Perfect.
Man, that worked out so perfectly because I was not ready to go home that trip.
Yeah.
When I got that cancellation, I was just like over the moon. I was like, this is amazing. What a weekend.
Yeah.
I've got a great photo of you two walking down Frenchman in front of me. Just quality.
Yeah, that's a
we
good
went
one.
to Jean Lafitte's, got a couple of t-shirts, had the voodoo daiquiri at Jean Lafitte's. I always go on about Jean Lafitte's, but it is literally my favorite bar in the city. I've even got the cross section tattooed on my arm. Where it crosses,
I love it there. Another spot. So when I'm down there, I always go to District. It's like a coffee and donut spot. District. I don't know if it's District Donuts is the name. District something.
Yeah.
They're phenomenal. And what was this other?
I'd chat at PJ's Coffee because that's where we met Doug Tatum, but I feel like I've been encroaching on other podcasts advertisers.
The Rum House. The Rum House is the name of the spot.
I've been there. Nice.
And then where did we go that one night? Late night. I've been there a couple times. On Magazine.
Where we sat aside on Magazine.
No, we were inside.
Oh, the the Irish pub.
Yeah, what's the name of it? That's the one. Come on, Mike.
Oh, that was when we hit. That was when
that was
we
the
was coming back from
moment.
Jazz Fest. That was at Jazz Fest where she hit the pothole in a really shitty
and the
neighborhood.
Tesla.
As she went, I'm going to pull over. We was all like, nope, keep going.
Yeah,
right, it will come.
There was guys.
Is it like McGlinty's or something?
No, it's not that. It will come to me. It's just I'm having a. You're obviously talking about my white. Yeah, I was going to say you're talking about my white beard, and I'm actually having one of those fucking moments. But it will come to me. But anyway,
what was it?
That was a good bar. It was. I'd like to go there when there's like a game on or something because it.
So I went there for a Tulane game, and it was awesome.
Yeah. I went there for the 2 years ago. Remember the LSU Bama game, and it was a phenomenal game that LSU won at the last moment, and so the Pelicans were also playing at the same time. So like I was just, it was like watching a tennis match, watching both screens. But the atmosphere in there was phenomenal, and the bar name will come to me.
It's not. I'm looking it up here, and they may have moved.
No, they haven't. They're still there.
I thought they got another property.
Oh, okay.
Because I think it's not the Irish Channel Street Patrick's Day Club, right? It's right in that area, though, isn't it? Anyways,
it's on Magazine. It as I said, it will sort of come back to me, but I can't remember off the top of my head, which is a real. I mean, God, I can remember every other bloody bar and pub we've been into, but that one I can't. And I went there a lot when I was there on my own.
Yeah, I've been there a bunch. Anyway,
was it by Ruby Slippers on Magazine?
Carry on then.
It's not a million miles from Ruby Slipper on Magazine, and it's Tracy's.
No, it was Tracy's.
Tracy's. Yeah,
Tracy's.
Yeah. Loved it there.
Yeah.
I love it. The barmaid. You walk in, she's like cash only. You're like, fuck yeah, it's gonna be a long
yeah.
Yeah. So those are definitely some of my favorite restaurants there.
Yeah. Have you got a favorite drink when you're there, Joe? Are you a local beer man, or are you sort of? Obviously, I know you like your old fashions. Yeah. I'm a little bit the same.
Old fashioned. I mean, I'm not really like a huge drinker, contrary to popular belief.
Do you ever deviate to a Sazerac rather than an old fashioned?
What's that?
Sazerac.
I don't know.
It's like an old fashioned. So it's made with rye whiskey, traditionally
Okay.
Sazerac rye. It's from New Orleans, and it's like a variation of an old fashioned.
Yeah.
Maybe
spray.
that's what they put me on, because that night we were at the
That sort of jazz bar.
Yeah, the jazz bar. I got an old fashioned, and then the waitress was like, "You should try this."
Yeah.
And I was too gone to remember whatever this was. I just remember
Yeah.
it being delicious, and I had like 3 or 4 of them quickly.
It's rye whiskey with I want to say pashuns. I can never pronounce it right. The bitters that were invented in New Orleans.
Yeah.
And then they
with
spray
orange.
absinthe, and they spray absinthe in the glass and mist it, and it's like it's very much like an old fashioned. Really nice.
If I haven't had it, I'll have it next time.
With orange. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I would say it's New Orleans' version of an old fashioned. If you was to make a direct comparison.
Yeah, and it's a bit the same as an old fashioned, Joey. It really depends on where it's made and what it's made with. Because I've had a couple of them where like, oh my god, that's delicious. But I've also had a couple of them which are like, my god, that's good.
The ones I've made at home have been fucking rank. Like when I tried to recreate I tried to recreate a bar. Yeah, I tried to recreate a hand grenade. Oh my god, that was brutal. It didn't give me as bad as a hangover as a hand grenade, but it tastes like shit. I don't know if I put too much Midori in it or something. Fuck knows.
I personally would be very, very unsure about even looking at the ingredients of a fucking hand grenade, let alone trying to make one.
Right.
You can find whatever you want on the internet, on the black market. You'll find a New Orleans cocktail recipe, along with Alex's private contact numbers for any taken care of.
Right. But yeah, there's no like specific New Orleans drink that obviously you always have a hand grenade.
Yeah. Just so going back to obviously sort of cover the city. So who is your, and we always mix this up. We always say to everyone, obviously, who's your favorite player? Can't include Drew Brees. Who's your current favorite player?
AK.
Yeah.
AK is not even close. I mean, he's my second favorite football player of all time.
Okay. So then the next question would be, who's your favorite Saint of all time?
Zach Bond. Can I still not include Drew?
No, you can't, because again, we feel
it would either be Drew or Joe Horn or AK.
Yeah,
depending on what the requirements are.
I'm assuming like the Joe Horn thing, apart from the fact that he was a fantastic player, it was your introduction to the Saints, so it sort of holds a sort of special memory for you.
Exactly. So, like the craziest thing was when Mike Thomas was in his prime, I was at a bar watching the game with a buddy of mine and telling the story about how I became a fan. And not 30 seconds later than I finished the story was the game Michael Thomas pulled out the cell phone. And I was just like, oh, that's fucking incredible.
And also it's one of those meant to be moments.
Yeah.
Joey, did you just apologize for swearing?
I don't know if it was a family friendly show, you know?
I don't think so somehow.
We were dropping a C-bomb last week. That's my favorite word. I'll say it because it looks very unlikely to happen. But I was exchanging messages with Joe Horn about coming on the pod, and he was up for it. And he's just very I've been messaging through Instagram, and he's just very, very sporadic when he responds, so it's very hard to time down. But he was like, "Yeah, I'll come on and talk to you." And then I went back and watched some interviews with him, and a lot of the things that his celebrations, he said in interviews, the reason I celebrate I'm so animated, he said, because I play for the Saints, and the chances are that very few people around the world are going to get to see us when you compare to the other teams that are going on. He said, so when I score a touchdown, I want to do something that they make sure they show a clip of me doing it, because I want fans around the world to be able to see it.
You get people like me.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So it's a profile for the team in the city. That's brilliant. I think that's fantastic.
And so you think about when he was, I'll get you on as well.
Not even just let him know. Shout me out. Let him know that diehard fan because of him.
Without doubt.
I wasn't sure if it was really his Instagram, and I was chatting away to him. And I was like, this might not even be him. But then I went and looked, and JC and Joe Horn Jr. No, I wouldn't have done that because he would just laugh. JC and Joe Horn Jr. both
Joe
following
Horn?
back. Joe
That's my
Horn,
fourth favorite Saints player of all
Joe-
time.
John Holmes.
Joy.
John Holmes.
Joe Holmes.
John Holmes. I sent him John
Joe.
Holmes' dick pic. That's what I did.
Yeah. So bottom line, it was him, Joey, and I kid you not, Dan's powers will eventually get Joe Horn on the pod without a shadow of doubt. I've got no doubt about it.
Awesome.
This man never gives up, which is remarkable.
I'm in the process of.
I mean, you got
someone
me, so anything's possible.
Exactly.
Yeah, you got Joey Blake. You can't. I'm not going to be able to top it, but if I can,
I've only done 2 pods in my life. This is one of them.
We got Scranton Jesus, man. How can we not?
Scranton Jesus. If I can secure the person I'm talking to right now, who is a top 10 appearance for the Saints player, if I can get him to agree a date, he said he's going to come on. I'm going to be over the moon.
Yeah,
I might have to move
one of my shirts or our private text messages.
Yeah. We'll let you know. We'll let you know.
The amount of groups I'm in.
The other thing that another thing that we have to think about, actually, also when we're talking about ex-players who was a current player last year, is obviously Jimmy's rowing the Atlantic, isn't he? And so he's going to end up, from what I understand, he's going to end up rowing to the UK. We need to organise a trip, Mr. Harper, because I'm assuming that will be somewhere in Cornwall.
When is he doing that? Is that South?
He's doing it during the. Yeah, he's rowing to Scranton.
Ooh.
Down the Thames.
Yeah.
I grew up in Scranton.
Going past the Uber taxis. Let's go, Jimmy.
Yeah,
follow him on that bike.
But not in a hurry, mate. If he is doing that and he is turning up at a port or somewhere in the sort of south of England, we should really make an effort to get down there. And even if it's, if he's not in a hurry, but if he sees us in Saints jerseys, knowing Jimmy Graham, he'll come over and chat. Might be able to get something arranged with him there. But that's something to bear in mind. We ought to have a think about that. A remarkable man as well as a remarkable player, that fella.
But for me, so it would go. It would go definitely Drew number 1.
Yeah.
Probably AK number 2.
Mm.
And then Joe Horn. It's close there, though.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a
Tracy Porter's up there.
And yet again, it's quite often for a lot of people, it's not necessarily their all-round play. It's like there are moments, aren't there? There are moments that sort of percolate with certain people, and that's why they become their favorite players. It's the same, it's the same.
Mike would be there.
Yeah, thanks, mate. I haven't played. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You're definitely up there.
Hey, look, man, I've worn this hat throughout the whole pod just for you.
I appreciate it. It looks great.
The horrible thing about it is that you can't. It doesn't really look like I'm wearing a hat because of my ceiling. I can see that now.
Yeah.
But
I was going to bring that up, but still looks, I mean, it looks great.
It just looks like I've had.
It matches the 5 o'clock shadow. That's about like a 9 o'clock shadow by this point, but.
I can't believe the ageism that's going on in this pod.
Me and Dan have,
we're not saying anything negative.
Me and Dan are very liberal, woke individuals, and I can't believe that we've got an ism going on this pod.
You left your hat here last time you
Right, so the part of the reasons why I shaved my beard off is that obviously I had a number of Father Christmas jokes, mainly from Dan. I also had the homeless David Letterman joke from Dan. I then had another joke when I was out with a bunch of mates the other week, and one of our mates couldn't turn up, and the picture was taken, it's sent back, and he was like, "What's Gandalf doing there?" And I just thought, right, that's the point where I have to shave this fucking beard off. So I shaved it off a week ago, but as you're like, my shadow now is just fucking white. So
my goal is to never shave my beard.
Yeah, I had that sort of goal, but
I
haven't shaved since probably. Know who he was. I mean, I get it trimmed up. I get a shape up.
Yeah. No, I used to get I think when I got a big beard, I love when it's really well shaped and sort of.
2015 was probably the last time I.
Yeah,
was
as Dan was saying, I turned up. Me and my wife went out with Dan and his lovely lady last Saturday, and it was a day after I shaved my beard off, and I do think Dan was like, "Who the fuck's this cunt? I don't even know who this is." As I turned
Yeah, I
up
would have
to the bar.
left probably.
Yeah.
Also, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Was he a twat as well?
and not as big a twat as you.
That's what I like to hear. I love
As
being
long
the
as you're
biggest
not a
twat.
dickhead, though. You don't want to be a dickhead.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Hey,
Anything worse than being a dick is a prick.
I don't normally lose my train of thought, but I have at the moment because I've just got dog's abuse from the pair of you. Well, I can't remember where I was. Dan, take over, mate.
What's your like? This is.
We were going down the list of
What-
questions
this
that
is
we
great
normally ask. Favorite
podcasting.
player, all
like
that
food.
sort of thing.
What's your favorite?
No,
favorite?
we've been there.
meal
We've been
in
there.
New Orleans? No, did we? Did we?
He's not listening to his own.
The queso.
Yeah.
The case.
You're not
Yeah,
listening.
all right.
Superior
You're
Well,
actually
queso.
not listening to your own pod.
these are like 7% beers I'm drinking.
Yeah. All right. So,
No, but
don't
if you
know
don't
what I
count
want,
the queso, which I wouldn't consider like a New Orleans food,
no.
gumbo.
Yeah.
Gumbo.
Dan, do you want to explain to the viewers about your
Oh
gumbo
my
last
god.
week?
Oh my god. This was right. So we arranged like a couple of months ago to go out for dinner for my birthday, and I said I want to go to somewhere that does like New Orleans food, and we picked a relatively new restaurant in London that's been open a year, and it said it serves Southern American cuisine. So I walk in, Mike comes a little bit later. I walk in, and they've got all posters of New Orleans up. I'm like, this is the spot. I cannot wait. They've got
I saw
gumbo
the
on the
picture.
menu. So they got chicken and sausage gumbo. I said, I want the gumbo. I'm having a gumbo for main. That's it. That's all right. And I had boudin balls for starter, which weren't quite what I was expecting, but I was like, boudin's hard to recreate. This thing was like a paella that came up. It had no stock on it. It had no juice. It had sweet corn in it. It had no celery. It had no onions. It just had peppers. And
Did you
I
complain?
looked at
Yes.
Mike and Nick complained when I was in the toilet because
Oh, Mike, you were there too?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
I was like,
I did have gumbo. I had ribs, which was spectacular.
and the ribs were phenomenal.
Really
and Mike's
good.
wife,
But
Karen,
the gumbo
had
is hard to get over.
the gumbo. I just couldn't deal with it. I just left it. And I was in the toilet and they said, that's not what he ordered. He ordered a gumbo, and that's like a bastard version of paella had a baby with jambalaya and threw in some fucking sweet corn. It was horrific. They knocked half the price off for it, though,
Yeah.
and gave me a free birthday cake.
Yeah.
But I won't
Well,
be
that's
going back.
amazing. I would say jambalaya, gumbo, red beans and rice, like
Yeah.
interchangeable as far as what would be at the top of my list.
Yeah. I would, out of those three, I would probably go with gumbo. Although jambalaya, if it's a good jambalaya, it's like, oh, that's really
Depends
good.
what type
So-
you get, though. If you get Cajun or Creole.
Right. I haven't had seafood gumbo yet, so I need to knock that out.
Yeah.
My
Dan knows it. My favorite of all those sort of things is char grilled oysters. Is like
I haven't had
always
those
mine.
yet either. Got to knock that
Oh,
out.
we got to get down
the
to
thing-
Katie's in Mid City. Oh,
Yeah, but also Joe, you need to have them because when Dan first had them, we went to Katie's and Dan, you really weren't keen. Where you're like, I'm not having that. We convinced him to get them when we were there. Our boy Josh, you fucking loved them, didn't you? Absolutely spectacular.
Oh, so I
Again.
I don't love oysters, but like I could
no.
do with a regular oyster. So I would.
So have you had char grilled oysters before?
No.
Have you just had naked
raw.
oysters?
Yeah.
As
I can't do naked oysters.
I can't even touch
Like a
them. I had
booger.
them when I had them in Brussels and they were disgusting. Really didn't like them. Char grilled on a different level. Not even the same food.
I would try that for sure.
Mm.
Muffalata
Yeah.
had some great ones at Jazz Fest.
The Jazz Fest.
do you know?
I was.
Do you know what I love sometimes when you're just chatting to mates or when you're doing a pod? It's like someone will say something and Dan expresses himself just in noise, not in words. It's like you said muffalata, you went wah, wah, wah.
It's just a carnal reaction.
It's like
Your mouth waters.
yeah.
I was watching a YouTube video of some guy who went to a place where they said they invented the muffalata, and they had the pot of the olive. It's like an olive salsa type. And they get it in a scoop and they get a bit of juice out and I was just like, I would just like to scoop that up in a cup and sip it. It looks phenomenal. Phenomenal. So good.
No.
And it's such a simple sandwich. Salami, ham, cheese, olive salsa.
Yeah.
For want of a better phrase.
Unbelievable.
That's the I think that's and I can't remember because it's been shut for ages. Then it's on Decatur, that place that you're talking about, Dan.
Yeah, it's the
it's oh god, what's the freaking name of it?
The name escapes me.
It wasn't Stone's,
Anyway,
was it?
no. It's like a supermarket, isn't it? Where
it's a supermarket. It's like French Quarter Market or something. It's not French Quarter Market. It's
remember what the name of it is. It's
just like,
but
it's like the what's the place that does the po' boy with the whale sauce or the jazz sauce? That's just like a standard little like corner shop. Yeah, and they got this phenomenal po' boy at the back, the jazz po' boy, and it's got their wow sauce in it. Like, amazing. Oh, I'm salivating thinking about it. Yeah, we know.
Now, yeah.
I've had my dinner, but I might dip back in for something else. I had a curry for dinner. I might have to have something else to get me going.
Also, I think maybe I don't know how Joey's set for time, but maybe we should think about starting to wind this down, Dan, or not. Joey,
I'll go all night.
That's what she said.
But we can wind down.
Not for me.
What other questions do you guys have? I know you're like reading off a list like professional.
No, we haven't. Literally,
You said, what's your favorite food? What's your favorite player?
All right, I'll try and think of a different question. What's your favorite type of pillow in a hotel?
Ooh, medium, probably.
That wasn't a real question.
I would say like medium.
But it's a fair question.
It's more the blanket that's important to me. Like I could work with whatever pillow wise. Like there's really not going to be a pillow I could work with, but like I gotta have some substance to my comforter. You know, like the worst is when you go to a hotel and the blankets are like a sheet.
Yeah, we get that in Europe a lot when you go on holiday. Yeah. It's like
it's a good thing I have places to stay when I come visit.
You absolutely will. And also the thing about which is magical for both myself and my wife. We're myself and my wife are both London born and bred, and we lived there for years and years. And 4 years ago we moved out. Well, we've just had an offer accepted in a house, which is not in London, but it's just on the borders. Very easy to get to and from London, but it's a beautiful area. Joey, when you come over, there is a bedroom there for you.
Well, congratulations to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll just congratulate myself, but thanks.
Yeah,
Joey.
no, I appreciate that. Congratulations to you as well.
No.
I'm the one with the bedroom over there now.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate that and congrats. That's amazing.
Yeah. Oh no. And Joey, man, you've got to make your way over.
Got to do a European that'll be my next big trip. Probably is like a Europe trip. I mean, New Orleans is always first on the list. Yeah. Right now, I'm in the process of figuring out how to move to Colorado. So once I get that squared away, I'll know better about my travel plans.
Absolutely.
But Euro trip is on the.
If I would say, right, give me your 4 destinations in Europe that you want to go to, what would they be?
Ireland. Does Amsterdam count? I don't know, what's Europe.
Yes.
So
Amsterdam
UK
counts every single time.
Well, I didn't know if that. I'm terrible with geography.
That's where me and my wife got engaged. So Amsterdam's a favorite city of ours.
In no particular order. The UK, just wherever you guys recommend.
Yeah.
Ireland, Amsterdam, and then kind of up in the air. I guess maybe Germany because I lived there when I was really young, so I don't really remember a whole lot. But I'd probably trigger some memories being there. Shoot, I want to do like the tour of the areas that were used to film like Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings, like those type of.
So that's
what is it, the Green Isle and like
Giant's Causeway and all up there, isn't it?
Causeway, Northern Ireland. You've got Croatia. So there's a number of different areas that
trip like that. Greece would be really cool. Rome,
Greece,
like honestly, after Amsterdam it's like just everywhere. I want to see everywhere.
Yeah.
Stratham.
Joe,
Show
that
me
leads me on nicely to my question, right?
All
So
right,
we
okay.
dubbed you an honorary Brit. You've deciphered the odd rhyming slang. So I'm going to throw a couple of Cockney rhyming slang words.
I was
at you and see
hoping
if
we
you
would do
can
this. I was hoping we would do this. Let's go.
Right. So butchers. Have a butchers at this.
Have a look.
Yes.
My man.
Well done.
Yep.
This
That was
one's
good. I
this
wouldn't have
one's a
known
bit.
if you didn't say have a butcher's at this. So
Yeah, you
Well,
did help out, but
you
I'll
softballed
give some
that one.
context. I'll give
Okay.
some context.
Okay.
This one's a bit more tricky. Brassic.
Okay. Say it again.
I'm Brassic. Brassic.
Oh.
I'm Brassic.
yeah, right.
I'm Bressic.
Yeah, you might have to add the other bit, Dan.
Yeah, give me use it in a sentence or like some kind of context.
Dan, are you
Mate, I
coming
can't-
out tonight? Dan, are you coming out tonight?
Can't, mate. I'm Brassic.
Tied up, busy.
No. Right, give it the additional,
Sick.
which might not be proper Cockney, but
Sick.
Dan, are you coming out tonight?
I'm Brassic Lint. Doesn't really rhyme actually when you do it that way. It means
It does.
skin, which means I've got
Skin.
no money.
Yeah.
Skin.
Brassic
Oh, you're
Lint
broke.
means skin. Yeah, broke.
Yeah,
You're
broke,
Brassic, broke. Okay. I didn't know that one. So 1 for 2. Let's keep it rolling.
This one's gonna be interesting. Hampstead. How's your Hampsteads?
Hampsteads?
Yeah, and I'll give you the full version. Hampstead Heath.
How's your Hampstead Heath? How's your Hampstead Heath? I don't know. How are your teeth? Like,
Yes.
is that
Yes.
it?
Yeah.
Who asks how someone's teeth are?
I was going to say, how was your trip to Turkey? How are your Amsterdams?
How are your teeth? Is that really what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not
This
messing with
one's
me?
No.
No. Hampstead Heath.
2 for 3. Let's go.
Yeah.
This one's a trickier one. Whistle. It's a nice whistle you got on.
Yeah.
Whistle.
I've got an interview today, Dan. Have you got a whistle?
A suit? A tie?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, suit.
Whistle.
Okay.
Whistling flute.
Whistle
A
flute.
whistle and
suit.
flute. A tie and a suit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, a suit. Just a suit.
Just a suit.
Well done.
Okay.
3 or 4. Let's
3
go.
or 4.
This one's.
I just want. Wait. I need to preface. I haven't heard any of these yet.
No,
This is just all natural.
this is off the dome.
This is no way insultive, but septic.
Septic.
Yeah. As you make the septic tank.
The shitter. How?
No.
Like, how's that piece of shit?
I'll get it right, Dan. When you go to New Orleans, do you get on with the septics?
The locals.
You're
If
in the range.
region, maybe. Yeah.
Right.
If
Dan,
you
when you go to New Orleans, did you get on with the septic tanks? Have a think about what other countries may call you lot.
The Americans. The pieces of shit.
I don't know if they are aware that people call them that. I'm not sure.
But I don't
Yank.
The Yankees.
Septic tank, Yank.
Yanks.
Yes, septic
Yeah,
tank.
septic tank.
Ah, see, that's new. That's new. Okay, 3 of 5.
Yeah. I think we exclude that one because if you weren't aware that that's how other people refer to you, that's not fair.
I would have guessed wanker before yank.
Yeah. All right. So we'll exclude that one. You're still 3 out of 4.
No, we'll go 3 of 5.
Yeah.
3 of 5. All right.
Mm-mm.
Dog.
Homie.
Are we talking about the? Are we talking
Dog and,
so
right?
many.
Dog and bone.
Yeah.
Dog and bone.
Yeah. Dan, have you spoken to your old dear? Like she was on the Dog and Bone the other night and she wanted to talk to you.
Phone?
Yeah.
Yes. Dog and phone.
Yeah, that was good.
You like the old deer as well.
The old deer.
I thought I'm talking to somebody from sort of East End Essex. I better get in there. I'm from West London, North London, so I'm
West
I'm
London,
quite
North
posh.
London. Yeah.
I'm quite posh.
let me
Very
let me
posh.
finish with one that what's a little bit naughty.
All right.
Ooh.
Okay.
Oh,
Kyber.
behave. What is it?
Kyber.
Kyber? Kyber?
Yep. Kyber, and the long version is Kyber Pass.
Kyber Pass. Use it in a sentence.
All right. Dan, oh, fuck me. That curry last night really fucked up my Kyber.
Ass. Butt.
I'll
Butthole.
give you ass. We would say
Stomach.
ass, but yeah, ass.
Arse.
Kyber Pass.
Arse.
Kyber Pass. Ass.
Yeah.
Look at you.
Kyber
You're
Pass. Arse.
bona fide.
You are a
Bona
prick.
fide
I just
Londoner.
want to put it out there. I
Come on,
never heard any of those sayings before, so this was all off the top.
I'm
Off the
literally
dome.
reading this off Wikipedia for the more common ones. Some of them get
Baggy Dan will
really
be proud.
That Dan could go down a route which where he would say some that I wouldn't understand, because obviously I'm not even from anywhere near that region. So
No, you're from North London.
yeah, exactly. And also it's like it's the same thing in London. It's like the sort of Cockney rhyming slang sort of almost was watered down over a period of time, where it's the same thing with, you know, when sort of younger kids now sort of have a sort of a yardy sort of take on language and stuff. It's all watered down, and yeah, Cockney rhyming slang was watered down for the rest of London.
Yeah, shout out Mike Myers and Austin Powers for helping me through that exercise.
Yeah.
Do you know the one that throws me is when people call a cigarette a salmon, and that comes from salmon and
trout.
Snout. But then snout itself is a slang term for tobacco. So it's like they took slang and they added another slang on top of that slang.
Yeah.
That was always like,
see, that's where I want to excel, that area of UK slang.
Right. I've got a question for the pair of you, yeah. And I saw this. I don't know what it was on. It was on Instagram. This is Saints related, and I think it was an interview that Drew Brees was doing around the Super Bowl, I think. So apparently there are. Hold on. There are 9 players that Drew threw 15 touchdowns to. I want you,
but I won't get them.
Between you, I want you to name them all. I'm going to give you one clue. One of them is not a Saint. So
that's going to be Dalian Tomlinson.
No.
The one that's not.
No, who was the?
No? Antonio Gates.
Tight end, wasn't it? Yeah, Antonio.
Yeah. Right. Anyway, so
Sproles is the one that he forgot. Sproles is the one that he forgot.
Oh, you've seen it, you motherfucker.
Yeah, but I won't remember all of them.
Right, go on.
Jimmy Graham.
Mike T.
Jimmy Graham.
Jimmy
Graham. Yeah.
Alvin? No, Alvin was a no. Brandon Cooks.
Yeah.
Colston.
Yeah.
Gary Henderson.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Lance Moore.
Yeah. Well, that wasn't much fun.
Was that all of them?
Joey?
Hey, no, we're missing one. We're missing one.
No.
We're missing one.
No. 1, 2, 3.
Sproles,
oh,
Thomas,
yeah.
Jimmy
You're missing
Jeremy Shockey.
one. You're missing one.
Jeremy Shockey.
No.
No.
Come on, Joey. You saw it. You plum.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. I won't remember it.
Oh, Joe Horn.
Joe Horn.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Who else? Meacham?
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, it was funny though, because he had this where he was doing it. Obviously, you saw it, Joey. Where he
did good.
He said Alvin, and he was like, no, and he went Reggie Bush, and he went, no, he went, are you kidding me? Like he's like almost like, oh, I didn't throw 15.
Yeah, he's gonna come back and make them be on the team just to get those numbers.
I'm gonna learn to throw it with my left, and I'm gonna ask Reggie to come back and play for the fucking Panthers.
Yeah. Don't put that evil on us.
No.
Oh, don't. Pickle.
All right.
Maybe, though.
Well, I think we ought to get to the end of this pod. Joey, it's been an absolute fucking pleasure having you on, mate.
Thank you for having me, man.
Really, really is. And it's also one of those things. It's like, obviously, Dan was touching on, like, obviously meeting you in New York, and I've had obviously the pleasure of meeting you a couple of times, and you're such a chilled guy to be around. And you actually, that it's almost like an aura that comes off you. So when you're in your company, you actually feel the chill that Joey feels, which is wonderful. And it's actually, even being on this pod, you sort of get that sense of it as well. And it's been lovely doing this pod with you, mate. And I'm really, really happy to have done it. So thank you very much, Joey.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on. Love what you guys are doing. I think it's always fascinating to hear just everyone's stories. So
Yeah,
appreciate you having me on, and can't wait to see you guys again.
yeah.
Never say never. I mean, maybe I'll sneak a last minute trip for French Quarter Fest or something. We'll see.
We know what you like, Joey.
Just take your laptop round with you. Tell them you're in the office. No one will know. I'm sure
Yeah.
no one's listening to this.
Yeah, no, that's what I do. I was gonna say earlier, I mean, sometimes I've been down in the city and I didn't spend a lot of time necessarily doing things because I was
working. Yeah.
But it was still just incredible to be there.
Yeah.
But even then, you can like work in your hotel room and then go out and just sit in a cafe for an hour on your lunch, or maybe take your laptop and sit there for 2 hours.
Yeah, I could go work from anywhere.
Yeah.
Work.
Absolutely. Calls and stuff.
Yeah, but no, I appreciate it. Love what you guys are doing. Love you guys. You're my brothers. Can't wait to
love you too, buddy.
Hang again.
Yeah.
And yeah.
It will happen. Hopefully this year, my friend.
Oh, it'll happen this year. It's just a matter of how many times and when. And where.
Yeah, I mean, I'm locked in for French Quarter Fest, and I've booked. I didn't say this. I've booked a trip to take my kids to New Orleans over Christmas.
Oh, if Dilbra's going to be there, then I'm going to be there for Christmas. Come on.
Dilbra's going to be there. We're hoping the Saints will have a home game.
Maybe that'll be the meetup trip. Nah, probably not Christmas, but maybe that'll be my meetup.
Maybe a mini meetup. But I'm trying to convince Di to go out to that one because it's school holidays, so his mother-in-law can look after his daughter, and trying to work on Mike's dear lady as well a little bit, see if she'll make the trip over. But I'm sure I'll get a Pelicans game in them. But definitely, if not, I'm gonna have to go to Sugar Bowl. And if LSU in the Sugar Bowl, mate, that'll be fucking immense.
Yeah.
No, and let's not discount the fact that we're going to be in the Super Bowl and we're going to have to figure it out, regardless of what the cost is. I'll sell an organ.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think me and
I know Alex knows a guy.
Me and Dan.
Alex is the guy.
Well, you can't. Not in a hurry, mate. My liver won't do him any fucking good. But I think we've sort of said, Dan, haven't we, that we've sort of got to the point now where we sort of know that if the Saints got the Super Bowl, that we're going to New Orleans and we're not going to the actual Super Bowl, because there's even over here, Joey, over here, they're already advertising. There are a couple of companies do really brilliant trips, not throwing any shade on them. UK-based company do NFL trips, and they always do the Super Bowl. It's already coming out at $14,000 to go to the
which is like $17,000, $18,000.
Yeah,
we just got to keep out for all the contests and everything. Make sure we're all entering.
Yeah.
I said to Mike that we should try and get media passes.
Joey, you don't need to.
Let me not bring up contests. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. We wasn't going to talk
about one of my favorite
phrases. We're not going to.
Swiftly moving on.
Yeah, your favorite parades. Yeah, Mardi Gras is another one I got to get down there for.
Yeah, I think we need to organise that yet again. I was going to go over this year with the boys. A couple of reasons why. It's a bit too early in the year, and also my youngest had too much uni work on. But that's definitely one that I want to do. So that probably won't be next year, but because of the Super Bowl being in New Orleans, but maybe the following year.
Well, you never know, because I think it's after the Super Bowl next year. So
yeah,
I think it's in March next year. So it might come down to be more reasonable, but yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would like to go a bit earlier, actually, because last time we got there for Fat Tuesday, and I wouldn't have a problem with flying, like going out there a week before and seeing all the better parades.
Yeah, that's what I would want to do. Yeah,
all the recommended parades to me and Dan are all the ones that are either a week or 2 weeks before.
Same.
That's and I would love to do that. I'd love to do that. Yeah.
Cool.
Getting that Chewbacca.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
I want to see the Chewbaccas. Yes, don't speak to you enough, mate, in person. I know we chat in WhatsApps and Apple messages and Discords and stuff, but really, truly, every time I get to speak to you in person, it is an absolute pleasure for me and a privilege. And I
Likewise.
miss not seeing you, even though we've only seen you a couple of times in person, but love talking to you all the time. Look at all
Likewise.
that. Just talking about brothers loving each other. That's like Adam said the other day on his pod. So,
What did Adam say? Sorry.
What's the rhyme in slang for that?
Yeah, let's hear it, Joey.
I don't know. I probably know as soon as you say it, but I'm not going to say it.
The Yanks
act
would
like
call
I know
it.
it.
The Yanks would call it brain, wouldn't they? Brain.
Cop.
Yeah. All like when I said I was going to rock up to your Madden match with G, and you thought rock up was something completely different.
Yeah.
In the UK, rock up means like turn up somewhere, and they thought I meant like, yeah, I'm going to get hard on watching you play Madden. Yeah, that's what they thought I meant.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough of the soapy bullshit. Appreciate it, brother. I'm gonna pause this recording. We'll say bye, and then we'll just catch on the other side of the pause.
Sounds good.
Take care, everyone.
Yeah, take care, guys.